Hello everybody, this is Scott Dudley from Funnel Fella Radio, and today I'm super excited because we've finally made it to the 100th episode. And just to give you a little bit of backstory quickly, this podcast, the first episode was, I think was back on the 1st of January or sometime around then, right at the beginning of the year. And I set myself a personal goal of reaching 100 episodes, which is pretty rare for, somebody that's got no experience with podcasting and, has just got started. So the good news is we're on the last day of the year and I've actually managed to just squeeze it in. So it's pretty exciting from my point of view. And today my special guest is Matthew Bylett, who's based in Auckland, New Zealand. He's the founder of an agency called Think New, who help businesses achieve seamless customer and supplier communication through digital solutions. He's actually known me right back at the beginning of the journey when I first started, and he was pretty much just getting started as well. This is probably I'm guessing about 11 or 12 years ago. So we've sort of shared our successes and failures over that time. So welcome to the show, Matthew. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, cool. Great. Thanks for having us, Scott. It's good to be here.
No worries. You're welcome. All righty, so let's get stuck into it, and let's start off with your background and how you first got into marketing and automation.
Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, as you mentioned there, it's been quite a while from the pair of us. We actually met on Facebook when we were both starting to learn about social media marketing, and it turned out we were practically twins. You were born the day before me on the 21st of December, and I thought we were twins, so it was this message, and it's gone from there, and I've obviously probably tell from my accent that I started life on the other side of the planet, and I've come a long way from where I began, and I've never kept in touch with anybody. The people back in England, I've lost touch with all my friends that I grew up with and all that, never kept in touch, yet the one meeting that always happens is our monthly catch-up. And I remember at the start of the year, I remember how you were saying you wanted to do 100 episodes. And I, like you, as you know, we bounce around and we're forever moving the goalposts and, we're going to do this. And we set these things. And I think this is one of the first goals that we've actually set out long-term and hit. So congratulations. It's great. And it's a real honor and privilege to be number 100. So
awesome.
So basically what happened, life was tough back in the UK, and I came to New Zealand at 32, and I had to start again. I had nothing. I was building my life over, and I'd always done sales in England, and I always enjoyed the rush. I enjoyed the buzz of the sale and being able to sell things to people, and that really appealed to me. But when I came to New Zealand, I had to do things differently. And I stepped away and I got a normal job for a while. I had to learn a work ethic, and I had to learn about life, really. So during that process, I went and I worked in a warehouse, driving a forklift, and I set off on this journey. I learned all about going through processes and things like that. And while I was working in the warehouse, I went to an internet marketing seminar, and that seminar actually changed my whole perspective. And it was this concept that people will pay for information, and it kind of blew me away. Like you say, this was about 11, 12 years ago, and the whole thing, just the idea of it just ignited my passion, and it was like, that's what I want to do. So after this weekend, it was a 4-day seminar, and they showed us how to build a website, and I went into work on the Monday morning, and I said to the boss, I said, I'm going to quit. I said, because I want to go and do this internet marketing. This is what I want to do. And he's like, whoa, slow down. He's like, what I want you to do, he said, come upstairs. He said, we're about to launch the website. He said, they were importers, hand tools. And he said, come upstairs. You can do the website admin, and you can start from there. And that's where it all started. And over the years, I've been infected with bright, shiny object syndrome. I've bounced from ideas to ideas. But the thing that really worked for me well was when I was in that situation, like what I was in back at that original company, where I went into a particular department and we identified the things that needed to be done, and we did them. you know, and that's how I kind of fell into automation. You know, I ended up out as an account manager. I had sales team on the road for this business. But what I used to do for my customers I would help them start e-commerce stores. And then when we would start and build e-commerce stores so that they could sell more of our product, then we get the next problem, which then becomes, well, it's great when I sell a product online, but then what happens in my ERP system? Because the thing is, you know, it's not about the transaction that's done online. It's about what happens in the accounting package at the end of the day. And I started to recognize that was a real problem for businesses. And that's how I ended up falling into the integration and the data management. So it happened basically within a business. And then I've had like a couple of clients that I did a lot of hours for. I would go into their business, spend a lot of time there, find out what the problems were, and we would custom build solutions in order to be able to get the information flowing through the business, connecting the systems so that when an order comes in on an email, it doesn't take 3 minutes to process, it takes 30 seconds to process. That's the kind of impact that we want to have in a business. We want to be able to streamline everything so it's one touch of a button and all of the menial tasks get done in one hit. So once lockdown hit, I lost those 2 contracts. They were the first things to go through an intense lockdown in New Zealand. And so now I'm restructuring the business, and that's what brings me here today. You know, I'm now looking for a lot of clients that I do a few hours for, rather than a few hour clients that I do a lot of hours for.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot easier to scale that way, for sure.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, can you go into a little bit more detail about Think New and sort of what services you're providing?
Yep. So we are a digital agency, and I call it a digital agency. We help businesses with information blocks throughout the business. So we help businesses. We work on the premise that any 2 systems can communicate together. All they need is a medium in which to be able to do that. And in this day and age, quite often, there are so many different logins for this, that, and the other. You know, bright, shiny object syndrome is not exclusive to internet marketers. This happens to businesses as well. And, you know, it's things like, you know, when you look at your funnels and stuff like that, you know, if you're building something on ClickFunnels and you create a funnel that's converting gangbusters, and, you know, you sell 10, 20, 30 orders a day, you've still got to get those orders into the ERP system. Yeah. And that's what I'm helping businesses with. You know, it's kind of like, do you have to sell something on ClickFunnels, get an email, then re-enter it into your ERP system in order to be able to process the order, dispatch the goods and things like that.
So what's ERP? What's an acronym for?
So that's an enterprise resource solution, and it's a platform, and it's an accounting package. And basically what it does is it's a software management, a piece of software that will allow a business to store all the data. And it's the thing that communicates with the database so that they can get that information. So when you go into a shop, you know, the point of sale system that they would scan a barcode, that feeds into the ERP system. And it's the ERP system that will allow them to, you know, manage their inventory, get the orders out, get all the financial details ready for the tax man at the end of the year. So just stuff like that, you know.
Fair enough. All right. So who's like the ideal customer niche or target market then that you're sort of aiming for?
At the moment, I've got 2. I'm focusing in 2 areas. E-commerce has been it's been the go-to for me for the last sort of 8 years probably. And it's kind of, that's where I see the main integration thing going. Okay. My ideal client, who I'm going to target first in 2021, is a business that's selling 100 products on our local auction site called TradeMe. Okay. And TradeMe is like an eBay. And this is the thing that I'm looking for is people that have got 100 listings online and they need to manage those listings more effectively, you know, because they want to make sure that the stock's up to date. You know, you can't have a product listed on TradeMe that's out of stock. You know, so if you sell it on there, you've then got the hassle of the refund and things like that. So we need to make sure that all the systems are communicating together. And today, in the age of the dropship platform, then it's important that suppliers are getting that information through to their distributors, so that it can then be put onto the auction sites and sell. So I'm looking at that type of integration, e-commerce, keeping TradeMe, eBay, whatever on the online sales platform it is, tapping into marketing things with Google AdWords as well. So e-commerce business there, and also tradespeople that need to be able to invoice the customers. You know, for example, a locksmith would go out, do the work. You know, he sells a lock, so he's got to have a product sale there. He's got his time, so then he clicks a button and he needs to be able to invoice the customer there and then. But not only that, it's got to go one step further, because he's got to make sure that that is tracked in his accounting package, so that at the end of the day, everything balances up within his business. So that's the other service that I'm looking to do as well. I haven't actually picked my niche market for that yet. I'm talking to locksmiths. I'm also talking to electricians, because we want to build a quoting system into it as well. So that's to be seen, but it'll be a tradesperson type thing.
All right. So this is New Zealand based. You're not really doing international, are you?
No, not at this stage. You know, not that I can't do international. Obviously, it doesn't matter where you are for digital, but it's good to be able, because these are custom built solutions. It's good to be able to talk to my customers in the early stages, you know, while we identify what's going on. Yeah,
it makes sense. All right, cool. So can you go into a little bit more detail on the types of information bottlenecks within a business that you can help solve?
Yep. So that would be, like I say, I mean, for example, you know, if you're looking at your ClickFunnels, or you're looking at your email marketing and your CRM package, you know, it depends upon where in your business does the transaction happen. So, you know, the transaction has to happen somewhere. And it's usually an ERP system, or it's an accounting package like Xero or MYOB or something along those lines, and that's the most important package in the business, because that's what contains all the inventory. It's what tracks all the income and the expenses, and everything's managed from around there. So basically what happens then is, if you've got a CRM package, quite often the accounting package is not very good at tracking customer information. It's not good at tracking pipelines and things like that. So what a business will tend to do is they'll either not bother with the CRM system and not have any good pipeline stuff, or they'll go out and they'll get a Salesforce, or they'll get a company hub or a HubSpot and keep their information in there. So that's great to start off with. And then it's like, well, okay, so we're doing that now. And now what we want to do is we want to go and get ClickFunnels becomes the new thing, because now we need to do a funnels, because we've heard that that's going to increase our conversion rate. We're going to maximize our conversions, increase our average transaction. So we want some funnel software now. So now every time a new idea comes out, these sales and marketing, there's so many things available to us these days. It's really easy for a business to go out, sign up for one of these services, and then suddenly you've got 9 different logins where you're having to go around and, you know, and everything's disjointed within the business, because it's kind of like, you know, so these are all these individual silos that all go, they're all independent parts of the business that all make money. They're all valid. But what we need to do is, well, hang on, what if we had one place where we could manage that from? What if you had one login and that one login connected to your main accounting package, and that communicated nicely there? And then whatever you wanted to plug on top of that one package just integrated nicely. It all became part of a working machine, and all of the information, there was no blockages anymore, you know, because everything comes to one central point. You know? Okay,
interesting. All right, so how about providing an example of the platforms or systems that you integrate for your clients?
Okay, so we've done Accredo is a popular ERP system in New Zealand that they work with, and we've integrated Accredo with WordPress, with WooCommerce, and we've done it with Aweber. So there's that was a major integration that we did. We've done Xero. MYOB as well, which is another accounting package. And and then obviously WordPress with things like Aweber, and Aweber is an email marketing platform. We've got Company Hub, and it's a CRM platform as well. Integrated those two systems together in order to be able to share the information that they wanted within the business. But every system that we've done so far has been custom built for one individual business. So my goal for 2021 is to actually chunk that up and make some more generic digital solutions that can apply. So it's not necessarily business specific. And that's how I'll scale to go more global in the coming year.
Yeah, I see. Makes sense. Yeah. Excellent. All right, so let's pivot a bit towards customer acquisition. Just wondering what sort of funnels you're using to generate leads and convert them into paying customers.
Okay, so the funnels, I don't do a lot of lead generation funnel building online. A lot of the stuff that I've been doing has been relationship based because it's all local in New Zealand. Okay. But when the lockdown hit, I did actually go through a stage where I used a funnel for an ebook. I gave away an ebook. It was an Credo integration, and I did a funnel and I promoted that on LinkedIn. I just used WordPress for that, and I actually built my own funnel out from that and integrated it in with the accounting package Xero.
Nice.
And that was nurtured through. After the lockdown stopped and I could get back out and see businesses again, I tended to drift away from the lead generation funnels online, to be honest. I found it was LinkedIn. It was very, I focused elsewhere, and I shouldn't have, because lead generation funnels are definitely something that I must focus on for 2021.
Yeah, and I think you built your pages in OptimizePress, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a page builder that I used at the time.
Yeah, I've used that before.
I've used OptimizePress. Yeah,
it's been a long time since I used it, but yeah, I have. It links in well with WordPress, so and it's nice and easy to use, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very, very much so. And it was simple. I did a video course while I was building it out as well. Just put that up on there, and that was another little lead magnet that I was using at the time. But the thing is, with these online things like funnels and lead generation funnels and your click funnels and all of that stuff, all your affiliate marketing or anything that you're going to do online, you've got to focus on it. This is not, it's not something that's really, you don't just click a few buttons and money comes in. It actually takes time. You've got to go through the process. This goes back to the lessons that I learned in the warehouse, Yeah. You don't just get rich quick, you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a strategy. And the thing was for me, the lead generation funnels was a strategy for a while I was under lockdown. And then under those circumstances, I didn't continue, and I got distracted by the next shiny object that came along, because as soon as lockdown finished, somebody wants to talk to me about integrating an ERP system. And of course that becomes my new thing. And then I go away from there, and all of a sudden I've forgotten about my lead generation funnels. And how come that's not working for me? What's going on? That doesn't work. Never mind. I'll go and do something else, and it's because, anything that you do, you've got to focus on it. It's kind of like, it's awesome having all these 9 or 10 different logins and all the rest of it for all the different platforms, but better to pick one, do it well, get it working right. And then, and that's why it's great to be the 100th episode on here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we've already talked about OptimizePress, but other than that, what are your favorite online tools and platforms that you use to run your business?
Okay, so I'm kind of going away from WordPress a wee bit. WordPress has always been my go-to for many years. Well, since the start, really. I learned on WordPress. I'm a self-taught developer. I'm a wannabe a coder, really. In my heart, I love to dabble and get lost in the code. But so my tools at the moment, I'm really enjoying learning about Laravel. Laravel's a PHP framework. Okay. I'm starting to code a lot of my stuff in. I'm doing a lot of my integrations I do through there. and I'm learning React as well. So I've got these. It's more. I use very different tools these days. I'm learning languages rather than tools. And I want to learn a language because it's a more comprehensive solution for what it is that I need to do.
Okay.
So I learned how to do my integrations through Laravel. Now I'm looking at adding React onto the front end as well, so that I can start and do the same thing in React.
Yeah.
I like and using Node.js, but then also what at some stage I'm going to have a look at Python as well, because all of these languages have got different pros and cons to them all, really. And I want to make sure that I've got a comprehensive solution to make sure that when I build an integration, it's running it's the fastest, it's the cleanest, it's the most lightweight, and everything's working ahead. So, but key tools for me, Laravel, React will become a key tool for me as well. I'm loving that. GitHub is a real my repository management.
Yep.
So yeah, like I say, I'm not looking so much at WordPress these days. I'm finding it's getting a bit slow. It's too heavy for me. So tending to go away from that thing. And yeah, like I said, I want to build my own tools to be able to use within my business. I don't want to actually get them from somewhere else. With my email marketing, I use Aweber. Tends to be my go-to for email marketing, and all of my stuff I do through DigitalOcean. I prefer DigitalOcean to Amazon.
Is that for you hosting the files?
Yeah, that's my cloud clusters and my cloud solutions.
Okay, interesting. All right. So, what are some of the biggest and most common mistakes that you see your clients making?
That's a good question, that one. So the biggest mistake I think people make in this day and age is a lack of focus on content management. It's kind of like there seems to be, certainly come from the industrial industry in New Zealand. We import hand tools, it's got engineers and mechanics, and everybody's like, all of the descriptions in the ERP systems, all in caps letters, and we're only allowed a maximum of 60. So everything's it's all like truncated. So you don't have a cutoff disk, you have a CO disk, and kind of like this whole information. And people think that they can just take that information, put it online and make money, and really the biggest mistake I think today is not having a content management plan. How does that information get from where it is? When that information does get passed across, how effective is it? Is it communicating in the right way? And there's so many tools. Copywriting is expensive, but it's the most important part of online marketing. The written word, it makes a fortune. And it's kind of, so that's the thing for me. It's like I say, it's the whole plan, the thing around, we're in the information age. Whatever we put out there online has got to be at its best. It's got to be effective. It's got to be accurate. It's got to look good. It's got to, it's got to serve a purpose. You can't hide in the online world. And that's the thing that I'm trying to, that I'm trying to get across to my clients. You can't just put shit up and expect to get.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Don't expect miracles.
It's changed a lot in 10 years, hasn't it? I mean, you even look back at the search algorithms 10 years ago, and to these days, it's just so different. It's unbelievable in a decade.
Yeah, absolutely. But you'd have got away with it back in those days,
Yeah.
Today you can't, And it's like the information was so expensive. You could only have 60 characters for your title, and of course, everything has to be in block capitals because that's how the business works. So really, and I've been into a business that's actually changed that whole thing round, and you can't change what they've already got. You've got to adapt your online presence to fit what's already within the business, Because the thing is that business has been running for 10, 20, 30 years with block capital information. You can't suddenly go to title case and spelling everything out for them and expect it not to have an impact on the business, you know?
True,
So it's kind of like, and where is it? So yeah, like I say, having that plan, understanding what is it that we've got, what's important, and bringing it all to one central place, because everything's disjointed all over the place. And it's like, oh, well, I've got 9 different logins, so I have to use them. And, you know, so for me, that's the biggest mistakes. It's too messy, not thought out, no strategy behind it. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. Let's go and do that, you know, and a bit like me and my lead generation funnels. Yeah,
sort of disjointed is probably a good way to describe it, isn't it? Sort of, yeah. All right, so what's the biggest challenge you consistently have to face while running your agency?
For me, time management, staying on track, focus, keeping away from these 9 different logins that I have to have because they're all over the place.
So you've already sort of covered it, haven't you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of my big problem is making sure that I'm focusing on the right things. You know, I don't have a massive team. You know, I've got people that can help me out, but I don't have a huge team. I've got to make sure that I'm doing the right things because there's not enough hours in the day for me to do the things that I want to do.
Yeah, for sure. Make every hour count. Yeah, I can understand that. All right. So with an eye to the future, what are you curious about or researching right now regarding digital marketing?
Okay. Digital marketing is, like I say, I'm learning languages. The languages is what it is. I'm not looking for my shortcut to success anymore.
Right.
You know, I'm looking. The thing that I want to learn is the foundation. I want to build everything solidly. So I've got a really solid platform in order to be able to build this agency going forward. The things that I'm talking to businesses about today is valuable, you know, but it's mechanics of the business. It's the grassroots stuff that kind of like needs to be taken care of. So I want to make sure that platform and that foundation that I've got to build on is solid. So when it comes to my marketing, digital marketing, because I'm so focused on e-commerce, obviously Google Shopping is a big thing that I want to get integrated into a platform this year. If we were talking specific marketing, I tend to do. I prefer I prefer LinkedIn to Facebook. You know, so I would like to get back to some consistent LinkedIn marketing this year as well.
So more organic, sort of reaching out to people, not pay-per-click. You're talking about, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. Well, pay-per-click would be more for my clients, so my e-commerce stores and things like that. You know. And you know, but I was talking to a digital agency just before the Christmas break, and we're going to have a catch up. But they're struggling. You know, they're a digital agency. They've got e-commerce customers. They want to be able to make sure that they can get the information from the website into the Google Analytics. So that's another kind of that's another platform that we're thinking of. You know, so it's like, well, if I've got a digital agency that wants to come along and they can add new clients to this platform, and all they've got to do is just connect the integrations. If we can make those digital solutions nice and generic, so it's like, go and get your API key, copy it in there, paste it in there, and you're connected. They can then add their clients to their platform, and all we have to deal with is just whatever their website integration is. So, you know, that's a one for next year as well. So
nice.
Yeah,
all right.
But no specific. I'm not going out looking for new things to learn in digital marketing.
Yeah, I understand. Focus.
Absolutely.
All right. So who are your marketing idols or the biggest influences on your career?
Okay. Idols is a tough one. The biggest influence on my business for sure has been my business coach, Sean Foster.
Yeah.
He's a coach over here in New Zealand, seanfoster.co.nz.
Yep.
He does a lot of work in Australia as well.
Okay.
you know, so he goes regularly over there for coaching seminars and things.
Yep.
He's been phenomenal in my business. He's helped guide me and basically take me. When I quit my job, I thought I had a business plan A. It turned out I had an idea. And Sean's helped me from right from the start, build it up, get a bit of a plan. You know, we're going into this year, and actually, I know what I'm focusing on for each month of the year next year. I've got that strategy for the year. So he's had a massive influence on me.
Yep.
In terms of famous people, obviously Robert Kiyosaki was a big eye opener for me. Robert Kiyosaki showed me what was possible with the Rich Dad Poor Dad series. Enjoyed that very, very much, and I've learned an awful lot from him. Being a POM, I've got a lot of respect for Richard Branson. You know, Richard Branson was the one that taught me that your staff are the most important people in your business. You know, and up until he said that, everybody had always told me that it was the customer was the most important. And you know, Richard Branson helped me to be able to have a shift in that space and be able to move on. So that was a huge thing.
Okay.
In terms of motivation, Tony Robbins is probably a big motivator. I love Tony Robbins stuff, you know. So I'm very keen on personal development, copywriting. Joe Vitale, big fan of Joe, and I've done a lot of stuff with him.
Okay.
So yeah, you know.
Cool.
Many.
Yeah, there's a few there. How long have you been working with Sean for?
2 years.
2 years, yeah.
It'll be coming up 2 years, you know, and it's been a massive, it's made the difference for me.
Yeah, and I can remember there's been a few times where you've wanted to go in one direction, but he's steered you away from it to sort of stick with the plan, basically. So he's been a good guiding influence on you, hasn't he?
To a degree, yeah. He kind of like he calls me on my shit.
Yeah.
And I'm full of that. But but no, he's also given me enough space to be able to go and do it as well. You know, so you know, it's kind of like the lockdown hit. I've got two things on the go. I've got my lead generation funnel, and I've also want to create an information product because I've gotten in with one of the affiliate marketers, and I'm looking at this coaching program. And you know, Sean just lets me go on, and he gives me all the stuff that, you know, we've been talking about doing in the business, and he holds me accountable for that. And then he goes, "How are you getting on with your affiliate stuff?" And all of a sudden, you know, it was kind of like it went from 80% focused on the affiliate stuff down to 20% focused on the affiliate stuff to, shit, I've forgotten about that, you know? Because the stuff that we were doing started to gain momentum.
Yeah.
And it's like, rather than going and looking for the next thing, Sean's not a big fan of the tradesman's invoicing app.
Right.
He thinks I should focus on the TradeMe integration.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, but I want to do this as well. And he's like, yeah, I still think we're looking at it. I'm not 100% sold on that yet. You want to do it? Design a flyer, go out, talk to the businesses, you know, and we'll see what happens. Hey, he passes on his experience, calls me on my shit, and then we see what happens.
Yeah, he gives you the tough love where necessary, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Which is good. Yeah.
Cool. Definitely.
All right. So just to wrap up, where can people go to find out more about your services and or your products?
Okay. So I've got obviously we're online, thinknew.nz. I'm on LinkedIn, Matthew Bylett. And, you know, I floating around on Facebook for a while, but, you know, that's, it's been a long time since I've connected with anyone on Facebook. Hey, mate.
Yeah, well, I don't go there often either. I'm not a fan of the platform, especially Zuckerberg. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, keep going. Yep.
I was just going to say, website or LinkedIn is probably the best places to contact me for now.
Excellent. All right, then. Thanks for being on the show, Matthew. Really appreciate your time, and it's pretty exciting to have you on the 100th episode.
Yeah. Congratulations, mate. Well done. I'm so pleased you stuck to it.
Excellent. All right. Take care. See you later.